Welcome everybody. We're going to be making some butternut squash Alfredo tonight. So I saw it on Facebook as a one-pot meal, and we're kind of speeding things up a little bit tonight by we've pre-cooked the fettuccine noodles, but we're still using one pot because we're going to use the same pot again that I used to cook the fettuccine in. So the first thing is put some butter in the pan, about 4 tablespoons, give or take. And then we're going to throw in the equivalent of about 1 small onion from the Thrive freeze-dried onions. So it's going to reconstitute in the butter and also get a little brown as well.
About 1 cup?
About 1 cup. So I've made this before, and it was really good. I've made a couple of changes because I found the butternut squash was too sweet, so we are not putting brown sugar in it tonight. The other thing is, when I made it the first time, I didn't use the Thrive freeze-dried squash, so the prep time was painful. Butternut squash is not a soft squash. It is not easy to peel and clean out and cut up into nice little dices. But the Thrive, when it comes in the can, is already cleaned and peeled and diced, and we just put some in a bowl. We put 3 cups in a bowl with a cup of water to reconstitute, because the ratio is 1 cup of squash to 1/3 cup of water. So it definitely speeds up the time, because prepping a butternut squash is seriously painful.
And I didn't reconstitute the onions first because I want them to get kind of a little color. And that's starting to get there now.
Okay, can you show us?
Just a little hint of color showing up.
Oh, perfect.
You can get a little darker if you want.
So then we're going to throw in a cup of vegetable stock or poultry stock, and we're going to use the Epicure poultry stock. So it's brand new. We're starting a new one. There's another teaspoon on the fridge. Throw that one in the sink.
Teaspoon. Nope. Close enough.
Well, 1.5. So if it's tablespoon, half a tablespoon. So yeah, so with the Epicure mix, it's 1.5 teaspoons to 1 cup of water, and
there's one.
Is that teaspoon or tablespoon? Tablespoon, you're done.
Tablespoon, yeah.
Okay, so, and it mixes up really quickly.
Okay, I put the Epicure in first, now I add the water.
Okay, why?
Makes it easier than trying to mix it in.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, and me, I forgot my glasses, so...
Yeah, that looks like a cup.
Yeah. Just a tad. There. And yeah, we're getting color now.
Yeah, so you throw in the 1 cup of stock and the butternut squash, and we basically had it sitting for about 5 minutes just to soften up a bit. Now if you were doing this with a fresh squash from the supermarket, then you would have to let it cook for about 15 minutes. This is ready to go. Is it soft enough to mash?
I believe so.
Okay, so then...
And it's still hot.
So, yeah.
And my smasher.
No need to cook it for 15 minutes before you can mash it up. You can mash it up right away.
Or when it's dry, you can put it in the blender and make more of a powder, but we don't want that. We want some...
want a little texture.
To it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, if we were using the butternut squash to make like a butternut squash curried soup, we'd probably put it in the blender to give it a smoother texture. Dinner is right after the video, actually, because this is what we're having for dinner, Delina.
And with Thrive, this is a great way to make baby food. You take whatever you want, just puree it, or instead of pureeing, you make a powder of it, add some water to it, and now you have a baby food or puree. And without all the ingredients that normally are in baby food.
Yeah, because the only ingredient the only ingredient in the butternut squash is butternut squash. There's nothing else in that can with it. And butternut squash is one of the ones, almost all the vegetables have like a 25-year shelf life before you open them, and then 1 year after they open them.
So what's next, Medea?
You're going to add they recipe asks for milk, but we're putting in cream just because it's an Alfredo sauce. I'm sorry, milk in an Alfredo sauce is just wrong. And the one thing I would wish I'd had to try, dump the whole thing, and we don't, is the Thrive Sour Cream Powder. When you mix it up, isn't sour. You need to actually re-sour it. You need to add a little vinegar or lemon juice. So I would want to try using it, maybe reconstituting it a little thinner than you would for sour cream, and use it as a heavy cream substitute in recipes. So as soon as I have some, I'm gonna be working on that. And then you're going to add some of the Thrive Italian seasoning. It isn't out. It should be in the cupboard.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Oh, that's not yet. A little glitch, a little time.
That's okay. So we're going to throw in a little bit of the Thrive Italian, freeze-dried Italian seasoning.
And the smell of this stuff when you first open the can is something else. It's very fresh smelling. Yeah.
So what's it looking like now? I want to see.
Good.
It's looking what?
Good.
And you need to throw in a cup of Parmesan cheese.
A cup of Parmesan. I think that looks like about a cup.
Yeah, it looks like about a cup.
You can see how strategically we planned this for measurements and everything. But that's one of the fun things about cooking.
As opposed to baking. Baking, you kind of need to get things a little more exact.
Oh, yeah.
Smells amazing, actually. So at this point, if you were doing the... Oh, there it is.
This is what we got so far.
Looks good. So at this point, if you were going to be cooking the noodles in the sauce, you would throw the noodles in. Ours are already cooked.
Yeah. And one thing I will do is have some boiling water just to refresh the noodles. It warms them up, and it helps to rinse them off if you're worried about the starch content.
No, not me.
Yeah, in the restaurant we used to do this sometimes, and it was called refreshing the noodles. Sometimes pasta is more than one day.
Not at my house.
No. In a really good restaurant, it's not usually that way, but
Okay.
if you're working a few greasy spoons, that's one of the tricks.
Yeah, so if we hadn't cooked the pasta ahead of time, we would have to wait for the pasta to cook in the sauce, so it would take about 15 minutes or so for it to cook through.
But even if you wind up having leftover noodles and you want to do something with it, this is an easy way to fix them up.
Really fast. Really easy.
Or you can get Thrive tomato powder and make a tomato sauce.
Yeah, no kidding.
Some of you know how fast and easy that is now. Okay.
Is it ready to eat?
Pretty much. Just a little salt and a little pepper. And I'll stir that in. And dinner is done.
Woohoo! If you're in the neighborhood, you're welcome to stop in and have a taste. And we're going to try something new next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.